What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 365 podcast. This your boy Ricky.
I'm Drew.
And we're here today with the one, the only.
When I was a boy, my mama told me, she said, son, you got away with words, I believe. She thought I was a backwoods poet, porch picker, but I was just white trash with a temper. It didn't take long after I learned guitar, I was talking my shit in every backwoods bar.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the 365 podcast. This your boy Ricky.
I'm Drew.
And we're here today with the one, the only, Mr. Butterbean.
Ricky, Drew, good to be here, guys. I hear this is your first show. I'm excited to kick it off with a bang.
Yeah, this is our first show. So we're gonna start it out, man. So the Tough Man competition. Kind of explain to the viewers what the Tough Man competition is all about.
Well, I actually promote some. I got one coming up in a couple weeks. It's basically all the local guys get in there and bang it out.
Average Joes.
Average Joes, they fight. They can't have no pro fights, no more than 5 amateur fights. So they all fight once, see who the toughest guy in town is. The winners go to the next night, and they'll fight up to four times in one night just to see and they're 3 1-minute rounds. It's a very fast-paced action.
Okay, so it's true. So with the Tough Man competition, he kind of told us about it. You're the king of you're what the kids would call, you're the GOAT of the Tough Man competition.
I am the Tough Man GOAT. You're right on that.
Mr. Tough Man.
We're the king of the 4-rounders coming. When I started fighting professionally, normally they start 4, 6, 8, 10. Me, I've been scheduled for 6 rounds. I'll knock them out so quick. And a couple times they run out of TV time, so they turn it to 4 rounds. So I was knocking them out so quick, they call me the king of the 4-rounders. I'm knocking them out before 4 rounds is up.
That's awesome. You're a 5-time Tough Man champion.
Well,
correct?
Actually, I won 18 different Tough Man before turning pro. So I'm an 18-time Tough Man champion.
Awesome. Okay, so the story goes, I'm curious to hear it. You're working at a mobile home factory, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're working an everyday job. How did they persuade you to get in the ring?
Well, there's a local guy that worked with us. He was a lightweight, and we're making $300-400 a week, busting our buns, and a lot of times working overtime. And he come back fighting one weekend, and come back with $1,000. Back then, that's a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money now. So we give $2,500 away on our prize, but back then, you're talking 20 years ago, it was $1,000 extra. So I mean, hell, I'll try that. And so I did. Started knocking folks out, making money, and loving it.
So you grew up, did you grow up fighting? Or
No.
was you picked on when you were little? Or
Well,
what made you got it? Well, how did you know you had it?
My older brother used to beat me up all the time. I mean, he was a lot tougher and bigger, and
Okay.
until I grew up, that all changed quick.
I get it. I understand. Okay, so we'll fast forward. So the Tough Man, you are as the kids would say, he's the GOAT of the Tough Man competition. So he's Mr. Tough Man. So what made you take it to the next level, like to be a real quote unquote real professional boxer?
In Tough Man, you can only fight so many times, and then it would get to where I would show up an event, and I'd sign up last minute because the Tough Man people were real cheap, and they didn't want to pay me to sign up ahead of time, which would help their advertisement, help the show. So I would always wait till last minute, come sign up last minute. They had 32 heavyweights signed up at one. I signed up. Every one of them dropped out but one guy because the one guy knew he was getting second money anyhow, no matter what.
So the king of
After that, they booted my butt out.
the king of the 4-rounders. That's the nickname. It stuck with you even into boxing. So you're 77, 10, and 4, and 91 professional fights is what the number we have. Now I'm sure
That's
some
in
went
boxing, but I mean, I fought MMA, kickboxing. I've done a lot of other fights. A lot of them's not even on the record. So yeah, there's a lot of fights, over 300 all together. But to be honest, I couldn't tell you what's what.
A lot of people don't realize you basically had 2 separate careers going at the same time with boxing, kickboxing, MMA, all at the same time.
Well, actually 4, because I boxed, I kickboxed, pro wrestled. I was doing it all in the same years.
You even had a sumo exhibition as well,
and a sumo fight.
That's awesome, man. So you held the belt. You held the heavyweight championship 4 times. Okay.
Well, I held 3 different world titles in boxing and one in MMA all at the same time.
Okay, so you're a 5-time tough man champion. You go on, you're a 4-time boxing heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
That's not enough. Then you go on to win the one MMA
Elite One MMA title.
Yeah. So who was that against, and how did that happen?
Dean Story, I believe it was in Canada. It was a smaller organization, but it was I was the first boxer to ever win a world title in boxing and an MMA.
At this time, your popularity is like soaring. Like you were, I mean, you're still a popular guy to this day, but I'm saying you were at that time. I mean, you were on top of the world. Did you have to pay for gas back then? Did everybody want to get your food and your gas and everything for you everywhere you went?
I mean, no, it wasn't like that. I don't mind paying for my own stuff. I mean,
I'm surprised if you had to, man. You were the guy.
The promoters travel. They paid for all the travel. They come pick you up and take you where you got to go.
Okay, so with that being said, though, everything you're the most popular guy in the sport of boxing. To me, there's certain boxers, Floyd Mayweather. There's a few of these guys that are quote unquote save boxing, but they don't even make it to that time without you, in my opinion. I feel like
a lot of problem with Floyd. He's not fan friendly to me.
Exactly.
Didn't care for him. I mean, he's an all right guy. I don't like his whole money thing. I'm better than you attitude. That's just not me.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm no better than you, him, this guy. I'm not no better than anybody. I'm a regular guy beating up people, having a great time.
So the misconception on you, though, is like you're the average guy. You're the average dad out there knocking people out.
Having a great time.
What they don't know is you had better cardio than most of the jacked up guys.
Well, there was a fight in Connecticut. There was, I think, 20 fighters on the card. And once all the physicals and everything was done, blood pressure, everything was checked, the commission come out and was shaking his head, and he says, out of every one of you pro fighters here, Butterbean passed physicals better than every one of you.
I seen that story. That's awesome.
Which is insane.
So I know with your career, your popularity, you was able to cash in on a bunch of different opportunities and things. Talk about the brawl for all with the WWE or WWF at that time.
What happened is we signed a four pay-per-view deal with them, with Vince and the WWF. It's about WWF back then. Me and Mark Miro and Sable did our couple pay-per-views. And then I was supposed to do the WrestleMania show. And Tyson got out of jail, and they didn't want to put me and Tyson together. There was so much heat between us, they thought. Fighters, true professional fighters don't really have major grudges. I never liked fighting a guy I really didn't. If I disliked him that much, I wouldn't fight him.
Yeah.
Simply because he's making a payday. If I punch a guy in the face, it's going to hurt a while. But if I take a couple $100,000 out of his pocket, it's going to hurt him a lot worse.
Most definitely. You're a professional. I mean, you conducted yourself in that.
That's where the Brawl for All come up, when they had the Brawl for All competition and Bart won it. Vince said, all right, now we're going to see you fight a real fighter. And he wanted to fight a real fighter because Bart wanted to get out of wrestling, turn into a fighter. So Vince said, we're going to show you if you're ready or not.
So I heard, I don't know how true this is. I just watched the documentaries myself. We're fans. You were supposed to fight Dr. Death. That was the original kayfabe or script.
No, that wasn't that. But Vince did want Dr. Death to win.
Dr. Death to win.
It was, the whole thing was arranged to push Dr. Death.
Okay.
And then my understanding went to Vince. Vince went to Bart and said, look, we want you to throw the fight. Bart laughed at him and said, no, it's a real fight. We're going to have a real fight. And he knocked him out.
So congratulations. Now you get to get knocked out by Butterbean.
That was basically his punishment, I think.
Yeah, his punishment.
That's awesome, man. So the WrestleMania. So how was it working with Mr. McMahon? I
got on great with him. Me and him really hit it off. I mean, I had no problem. A lot of other guys have had problems with him. I've never had no problem out of it.
That's awesome. Straight business, just one.
That was it.
He represents himself. What you see is what you get with him.
Yeah, I mean, we had no problems.
When you knocked him out, the Bart Dunn guy, you knocked him out a few times, right?
No, he only got knocked out once.
Or once? Okay, I thought
he was out I've knocked him down several times.
Okay, yeah.
The last time he got up, Vinny Penzenza was a referee. Vinny was a true warrior himself. He ended up breaking his neck. And while he had a halo on his neck, he went out and was working out. Wow. Which he wasn't supposed to do anything. He was training for his next fight with a halo on his head.
Wow.
And then he went back and won a world title. So Vinny is a tough guy right off the bat, anyhow. So when Bart got knocked down, and he's, in Vinny's mind, he's tough, he better get back up and fight. So he should never let him fight. Any regular referee would not let him continue.
So when you after the fight or whatever, it didn't end. Obviously, it wasn't any fun for Bart Gunn.
No, Bart. To be honest, Bart really probably don't remember that whole night.
So now, have you ran into him at any of these shows or any of these things?
He does not do them. I've tried getting him to do a show with me. He just don't do them.
So he don't want no part of it.
He don't want no part of wrestling.
Man, I heard that. That'd be a cool thing. So
and true, Bart went on and fought some pretty tough guys in MMA later, and he done really well. Yeah, really, he is a tough dude. There's no doubt there. Bart is a tough guy. He just fought me with the wrong strategy. When you're fighting 3 1-minute rounds, you don't have time to box or try to feel the guy out. That's what he was trying to do with me. Bad choice. Whoever was training him was not good.
So you looked at it as a tough man competition. You went.
That's what it was. It's 3 1-minute rounds. We didn't have a lot of time to play. No time to hug, dance, kiss, none of that stuff. We went out and swinging.
Yeah, awesome. The 3-minute rounds. You really gotta pace yourself.
That's why the Tough Man show tape competitions are so exciting to watch.
Okay, so then after you did the WrestleMania, and then after that you went on to do the Jackass thing with Johnny Knoxville.
Correct.
So you really knocked him out.
He was out.
Legitly, you heard him. He was hurt.
He was out.
He was hurt. I heard he was hurt.
He was snoring. It was pretty out.
Yeah. I heard he. I mean, on after that, he had to go to the hospital. He was hurt.
Well, yeah, he had to go to the hospital, but he also had vertigo, which every time he stood up, he got sick for basically 6 months. Had to go to a doctor, get medicine for that. I was at the. We just done Family Feud together. I was the only non-cast member that was invited to do that. And I told Johnny, "Are you ready for your rematch?" Joking around with me. He said, "No, I had vertigo." He goes, "I don't want no part of it."
No more for him. So you did the Jackass thing, you did the WrestleMania thing. Both of those things are awesome things to be a part of. If you don't mind me asking, which one was most memorable and which one paid the most?
Well, they both had their highs and lows. I'm still making money off the Jackass thing, so yeah. I get a check every other month at least, so
that's awesome.
It's not so bad.
So nothing's coming in from Vince right now for the.
Well, WWF, once you've done your thing, you're done. They don't have nothing like that.
Okay. That's awesome.
You don't own no royalties or rights to the footage.
Okay. So we did the we talked about some of the boxing and some of the memorable moments. What about the time that you knocked the guy out, but before that you knocked the ref out?
Well, what happened is the guy was tough. And I heard the bell ring. I already was throwing a punch, and the ref jumped in to stop the fight. And I hit the ref and hit him both pretty much all at the same time. And the ref went down just went straight down. And I had already hurt the guy several times. So basically, when they got another replacement ref in, and the guy said, "I'm done. I'm not." He wouldn't come back out. So I knocked out 2 in the same punch.
All right. So in your time in boxing, who was the hardest opponent you ever faced?
Well, probably the trickiest was Larry Holmes. I went 10 rounds with him, and the only reason I really wanted to fight Larry is just to prove to people that he's tough. One of the top 5 of all time is that the time people he can't go past 4 rounds. I just wanted to prove to the world 4 rounds is easy. Right. 10 rounds was easier than the 4 because the 4 rounds are such a fast pace. I've been at fights for a lot of the guys because of TV time, they dropped them down. They were normally scheduled to fight 8 rounds. They dropped them down to 4 rounds. And they were gassed out by the time it was up because they were trying to do so much. And they just, it's to fight a 4-round fight, it's really hard because it's even. There's not enough time really to judge. So if you got to dominate the fight.
Right. You got to kind of keep your foot on the pedal. So
yeah, you got to dominate the fight. In 4 rounds, there's not a lot of time. Like an 8-10 round fight, you got time to. You can lose 3 or 4 rounds and be okay.
Right.
4-round fight, you lose a round and a half, you're in trouble.
All right. So that was your toughest opponent. So, what was your favorite fight that you fought in?
I've had a lot of good fights. Cabbage was an MMA fight. Really tough guy. Cabbage fought UFC, fought everybody. He's tough dude. I fought him 3 times. Really good guy to fight. Real fun. Me and him are real good friends. We went in the ring and we battled it out.
through all your fights and stuff, who was somebody you got closest to and are still really good friends with?
Well, there was a fighter named Johnny Tapia. He would do backflips in the ring after he won. Me and him become real close friends. He actually just got, I don't know if he died or I don't know how he died. He passed away not long ago. But I keep in touch with a lot of the guys that you know, we used to fight like Boss Root and we fought on the same cards. A lot of the guys I keep in touch with.
So you got the nickname Butterbean. I'm guessing that was from a family member or something. How did you get that name?
Well, there was a tough man contest. I had to lose 20 pounds to be able to enter it. And I went on a Butterbean and chicken breast diet. And I hated eating the beans. Because you didn't have all the grease and the extra stuff to make them tasty. So basically just the protein of it. And the guys that say, hey, don't forget to eat your butter beans, it just stuck. During the fight, they started chanting it. Everybody else that didn't know me thought that was my name. So it just stuck.
So what happens if you wasn't able to go on the Butterbean diet and lose the 20 pounds? What would happen?
Well, you'd be calling me Eric, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. It just worked really well.
That's awesome. Okay, all right. So, okay, all right. So, in your career, you had a lot of big matches, a lot of key moments, a lot of things. What's one moment that you feel like that got away from you, like that you didn't one matchup you didn't catch, was able to cash in on, or to me, it was the Tyson fight.
Yeah, Tyson was always looked upon. I mean, we tried to make it happen. The thing with Tyson, they wanted to keep him away from anything. Anybody that was a big puncher. Peter McNeely couldn't break an egg. Mathis Jr., I sparred him, and he could hit my daughter in the nose and wouldn't hurt her. They kept Tyson away from anybody that had any real power.
Okay, so with that being said, so you feel like that one got away from you. If you could go back, you would definitely take the Tyson fight if it was presented to you.
Well, who said it's just too late?
That's true. That's very true.
Very true.
So, say that presents itself. You were bells on.
Oh, I'm ready. Yeah.
Do you knock Tyson out?
That's what you have to pay to watch.
I heard that. Awesome.
So, you were bound to a wheelchair for what? A couple years, 3 years?
Well, I was in the chair for 3 years. What happened when you're 350 pounds, you're running a couple miles a day to get your cardio up, it wears your hips out. So my hips were shot. They were froze together. They wouldn't move. And then I got hurt in an airport, and pretty much I was in a wheelchair for over 3 years. Couldn't walk. I was in real bad shape. I mean, when you can't do nothing, you gain weight. So I got up to over 500 pounds and was doing a podcast. Me, Boss Root, and Flex Wheeler, and another friend of mine, Boss Rick Bassman. We was all doing a podcast together. We had Diamond Dallas Page on. And Dallas started telling us about a reality tape show he was going to do. And Flex said, you got to have Bean in the show. You know, he needs some help. And they've been trying to get me to do yoga for the last 5 years. I'm like, I am not doing yoga. But it's not really yoga. That's what people don't understand with Dallas's program. It's yoga based, but it's not all the Zen spiritual. It's basically really stretching the right muscles and doing the right things to make your body heal itself and heal correctly. So if you haven't seen the video on YouTube, check out Butterbean's One More Fight video. It's kicking ass right now.
So some of the people that I seen on there, or I watched their videos on the DDP yoga was Scott Hall, late Scott Hall.
Yep, he helped Scott.
Jake the Snake, but a lot of these other guys, and I'm not mentioning any in a bad way, they had addiction problems when they went in there as well, and was able to. He wasn't really addicted. Do you feel like that's one reason? I mean, you just excelled so good, like you're ready to fight again.
Well, not only like Jake, he was taking a lot of different stuff. I don't want to get into everything. I'm sure if you watch the video, I mean, he was anything he could find, he would take. But I mean, you got to imagine the pain a lot of these guys are in. A lot of pain I was in. I mean, so I understand it. So once you help them with the pain problem, help them get motivated, and help them believe in themselves again. That's a lot of the guys, they were Supermen. They knew they could do anything, but they lost that belief. Once you make somebody believe they can do it again, it gives them the drive to go forward and something to look forward to.
How long was you in DDP's program? And just not your physical, it was good for your mental, it's good for everything all the way around?
Well, we shot the docuseries for 4 months. And I went back for 4 more months and lived with Dallas. And
oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was over, basically a year, a little bit over a year and a half that I was overall.
From everything you see online about Dallas, he's just one of the greatest human beings on earth.
He helps a lot of guys. Yeah. He helps a lot of folks.
Awesome. That's awesome, man.
And hopefully this video that I did can then show people that it don't matter where you're at. If you believe in yourself, you can overcome anything. You got to have discipline. Though. If you're not willing to put in the effort, it ain't gonna happen.
How many times did you want to quit during?
Never.
You
never.
Just had you were.
I've never had quit in me.
That's awesome.
Of the one more fight video you were just talking about, one more fight, who would you handpick to fight that one?
Well, there's several people right now that we're talking. Jake Paul's one of them that would be a easy, fun fight to do. Brock Lesnar's another one. Tyson's another one. And I think he was an actor in Game of Thrones, the big giant dude. He's another one would be a great fight. I'm looking at fights that'd be fun to watch. It'd be interesting. Everybody would love to watch me smash Jake Paul. That fight I don't think will ever happen. Jake ain't got the ball stepping.
Well, I have to say this, man, on behalf of Jake Paul. He's a pretty good boxer. He's not bad. I have to disagree with.
Who's he fought boxing wise?
I understand. I get it.
I'm just asking who's he fought. But he's got better than what he was.
He's a YouTube
not a
star.
Good boxer.
You're a tough man. He's a YouTube sensation.
How does that make him a good boxer?
But I mean, look at his fight. He's not bad. Some of his fights, man. I
mean, he's horrible.
I can't say Jake. Man, on behalf of me, Jake, I'm a fan, Jake.
You got a fan, Jake. Don't know why. Jake cannot box.
So
he is the only reason he's even on TV is because he's been on YouTube. Yeah. That's it. Period.
There you go.
If he was a guy trying to struggle, Jake made a comment a while back. I went to these slums and trained and I was training like a real fighter, and I left my $1 million mansion to come train in this ghetto here, and that ain't the point of that. Ain't the point. Yeah. When you don't have $1 million mansion to go to, that's when you train harder.
It hits a little different, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's not the whole I trained in the poverty chicken coop. Yeah. It's like if you don't have the mansion to go to, and that's what you're working for, you train harder.
I heard that.
He's not a bad boxer. He is no means a good boxer. And if Jake, you want to prove me different, I'm game.
Jake, there you go, buddy. He's game, and he's with bells on. He's ready for you.
He yapped about me about being a joke. Early in his career, the interview asked him something. He said I was a joke. Yeah, I'd love to show him. He needs to learn to box first. He needs people skills, and then he needs to learn how to box
in that order.
Either way.
Back to you did WrestleMania, you did Jackass. During that time, your popularity was just through the roof and insane. Still, like I said, still a popular guy today. How come you was never in any of the Rocky movies?
Well, I talked to Sloan a couple times about stuff, and DeVito. I've talked to a lot of different actors. The time didn't always have.
Okay.
I mean, I was booked 1 to 3 times a month fighting wise. And that was my priority at the time.
Okay. A question. Why was you fighting so much? Obviously you're making a living at it, or is it enough to make a living at, or what made you want to put your body on the line so much?
Well, when you're training, why wait 6 to 8 months? I don't know why fighters wait so long before they fight again. I don't know. You know why they don't? Because the promoter don't want them on the card that much.
Yeah, you were a draw, though.
I drew, and that's why I was on every card. They wanted to put me on every undercard, and I was a main event. I've been the only 4-round main event in the history of boxing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
I was the first. I don't know if they've ever done it since. I was the only 4-round fight they've ever had odds on in Vegas.
Yeah, you're a stud. I have to.
And that when people throw money at you, want you to be on the card, so you go.
Yeah, you don't see that anymore with these new fighters. It's once, twice a year.
Yep, that's it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
A lot of guys will fight and they'll go to camp and they'll train for 6-8 weeks and then they'll fight and they'll take 3 months off or 2 months off. Me, I got right back in the gym the day after I got back.
You was ready to go. Yeah, that's awesome, man. With that many fights, it looks like that you would through that time, and there was never really any horrible injury besides the normal wear and tear. No horrible injuries though, right?
Oh yeah, I've had a couple.
What was that?
Well, I've had broke hands. This bone was broke pretty bad, but I fought 2 weeks after I broke it. I did detach both biceps, and that put me out for about 2 to 3 months.
You finished a fight with one of those, though, right?
Both of them I did.
Both of them?
I did. I detached both during the fight, ended up knocking the guy out in both fights.
So 91 fights.
Well, I've had over 300 altogether, so it's kind of hard. The records, they screw up on them a lot. A lot of states I fought in didn't even have a commission. Back then, a lot of states didn't have a commission. If they didn't borrow a commission from another state, it never went on your record.
So so we can just agree to
you must have had about 300 professional fights.
300 professional fights, any way you chop it, and referee stoppage a couple of times, but never got knocked out.
No, never been knocked out.
Never been knocked out.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's insane to never be knocked out.
Have no desire to feel what it's like. They say you don't feel nothing. I don't want to know. I don't care.
Yeah, you don't care. You don't plan on getting knocked out
No,
anytime soon.
I have no idea of it. I got a real good chin. I don't have much of a neck, so I absorb punches pretty good.
See, and this is the crazy thing. To me, we automatically crown Tyson as the heavyweight GOAT. I mean, that's that in our time, Tyson's the guy. How are we crowning him the GOAT? I mean, I'm not throwing off on Tyson, but Tyson really didn't have a chin, though.
To me, Tyson had people so scared of him. Peter McNeely, to me, showed a big weakness in Tyson. Tyson didn't know what to do when somebody went at him.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I would do. And I think the promoters that promoted Tyson knew that.
Yeah.
That I'm one that could knock him out with either hand, and I'm going to him. And Tyson wouldn't know how to act.
Imagine it being October of 1995 and Butterbean knocks out Tyson. How does the wave of boxing change if that happened?
I've knocked out several people that's knocked Tyson out.
Oh no! I mean, you beat McNeely like he stole something, and Tyson kind of struggled with him.
Well, I stopped McNeely quicker than Tyson, but a guy named Louis Monaco, I knocked out in the second round, I believe, first or second round, but he knocked out Buster Douglas.
Yeah,
he also knocked out Kevin McBride. Yeah. Both them knocked Tyson out.
Yeah, I know. I have Tyson's back on the McBride fight, but the Buster Douglas, he dropped an egg. I feel like.
It is what it is. Tyson's still a great fighter. I got no disrespect for Tyson.
100%.
I like him. We get along great. But me and him, it'd be the fight everybody's really wanted to watch.
Yeah, if we could hit rewind time, man, I would love to go back to 1995 and see it happen.
It'd be a great fight.
That would have been awesome. Y'all might have did a trilogy. Y'all might have had 3 of them.
But yeah, the whole DDP thing though really helped me out a lot. When you're in a dark place and you're injured. And what they done, they helped me lose enough weight to have both hips replaced and give me the belief that I had in myself before. Awesome. So once that hit, I was all game. A lot of work. You
have to be a confident person. Like you have to be to do what you do and to have done what you've done. Your self-confidence has to be through the roof. And to believe it in yourself.
You just got to believe in yourself. You just got to believe in yourself. You can accomplish. Anybody can. I get people that contact me all the time about wanting me to help them and inspire them and things like that. But if they're not going to believe in themselves and they're wanting to put the effort in and have a little bit of discipline, losing weight is the easy part. I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, losing weight is so easy. And people say, oh, you got to starve yourself. You got to diet. You don't. You just got to change what you eat.
You can just eat butter beans and lose it.
There's a lot. I could take anybody, feed them if they would eat what I told them, and they would never be hungry, and they would be full all the time and still lose weight if they eat the correct thing.
I seen you on your TikTok and they're fixing them omelets and stuff.
Protein and veggies. I make a pizza that's killer. You just take pizza crust. How you make the pizza crust out of chicken?
Awesome.
And it's simple.
That's awesome.
Couple cans of chicken, couple eggs, seasoning. You got your crust.
So back to what I was asking. So your confidence levels has to be, you always had to be a confident person. Being ridden to a wheelchair, weighing 500 pounds, I mean, you had to be just ready to give up, basically.
Anybody would.
Yeah,
a lot of people have.
A lot of people probably would have just went ahead and gave up, but you was able to, man, you're back for part 2, man. It's
like I said, if you watch the video, it'll touch a lot of people. I mean, there's been a lot of, I don't want to name who's called Dallas, but there's been some huge names that's already contacted Dallas and saying, the video actually made them cry. They're a grown-ass man, but made them cry and made them see what a person can accomplish if they want to put their effort in.
Well, so you're searching for, let's get to we've talked about the past. Let's get to the future. So you're searching for your last fight.
I'm not searching for nothing. I think it's going to happen.
It'll happen.
People want to watch it, so I'm not searching for nothing. It's going to come right to us.
The numbers would be crazy. I know that people are just dying. I mean, he's an Alabama legend, a legend in the South. What will be when you walk to the ring, say Jake Paul, let's go ahead and manifest it now. Jake Paul, Butterbean. But Jake Paul comes out. When you come out, what will the song be playing when you come out?
Well, I always play Sweet Home Alabama. That's a no-brainer.
He said Sweet Home Alabama. So when you hear that guitar riff crank up, man, you know it's time.
That's it.
That's awesome.
And you were inducted into the Alabama Boxing Hall of Fame, right?
And the New York. Yeah, I've been inducted in a couple Hall of Fames already.
All right, guys. I guess that's about it. It was great having you on, Butterbean. Good to meet you.
Yeah, man, we appreciate it, man. Thank you for being our first guest on the 365 podcast. Follow all the socials and everything, and we look forward to maybe catching back up with you.
Hey, that'd be great. 365. It's on its way, guys.
Hey, real quick, while we're on here, if you do get that fight, he did agree to give us ringside.
I agreed to let him buy a ringside right off the bat, no doubt.
All right,
guys, be sure and go check out all of Butterbean's social medias. Check out the video. It's pretty inspiring.
The TikTok's Butterbean King of 4. I got a blue check, so you know it's really me. So come check us out.
All right, man. Thank you, guys.